Why would people be emotionally? What has Vikingo done in his entire career to create an emotional connection? That's a question. I'm serious. What has he done as an entire career to create that emotional connection?
Are you saying the reason fans might not want him back?
Want who back?
Del Rio.
Oh no, they want him back bad because
I know they do down there, but they don't in the online. That's what I'm talking about. Is the divide between there's pressure amongst fans online to not bring Del Rio back.
And
we know that if you've been paying attention to TKO, they don't give a shit about your opinion.
No.
If he's legally cleared and the fans who are paying customers want him, he's coming back.
I do think they care about your opinion, but they care about, can I monetize this above everything else?
The way they care about your opinion when it comes to you voting with your wallet.
Bingo. Okay.
And they're not going to put a guy on TV that's going to keep you from watching the program. You disagree?
Say that again now, Nick.
They're not going to. I know that there's a few of you who are going to tweet at me and say, that's not true. They brought back so-and-so and I haven't watched since. Yeah, but you're still here listening, consuming content about it. You're plugged in. My point is, even comic book fans, and I'm not a comic book guy, but they could get frustrated with a character or get frustrated with a story. They're not going to just set their fandom down and walk away because one character came back that they didn't enjoy. No. Or they didn't like that character.
Never.
I'm just saying, where do you draw the line? Like Mike Tyson, fresh off of serving a prison sentence for you know what, he's front and center headlining their biggest event of the year, WrestleMania. Like, let's not act like this is a secret. And there's lots of guys who have had, trouble here, there, and yon. But if TKO has shown, if they're not in any sort of present legal trouble, they're good to go. Del Rio's coming back. But how you bring him back now that he's got such a hardcore following in Mexico, I mean, there's a groundswell of support behind him. It's a big opportunity. One I can get excited about creatively.
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't want to pick on specific words, but you said a hardcore. I'm going to say there's a mainstream following. I think the world is forgiving. I also don't think people tune in to professional wrestling and say, I got to have a morality play. Now, I want to know if this guy's a good father, a good husband, a good uncle, a good brother. Does he do his service work? Does he do all these things in his life? No. No. They want to be entertained. They want to be emotionally connected. Can this guy play the Rudo or the Technico, since we're talking Lucha Libre? Is he the heel? Is he a bad guy or a good guy? Can I get emotional? Will I entertain? Will I feel like I got my money's worth? Or when I get done watching this, can I get done and go out and cut the grass or whatever it is? Alberto checks every one of those boxes. And like you said, it's in life, we all go through shit. It ups and downs and everything with it. The morality police, God bless them. And I totally understand that on so many levels. And you can tweet and post and voice your opinion on all this, but TKO or UFC or AEW or whatever it may be, they all got bottom lines to meet. And I think that's just the real reality. And so let me ask you, Conrad, and you probably know more than I do. Alberto, you don't believe he's under a contract with not AAA, but with WWE right now?
I'm not sure if he is or not.
Okay. I honestly would have assumed there's no way he's on that show Saturday without him being under a deal.
He wasn't on the show Saturday.
Well, okay, but they know what they're playing with.
But right? Help me understand. You said okay. You mean by the fans chanting his name, he's on the show?
No, just okay. Do you think it was a surprise? Maybe let me back up here. Do you think it was a surprise that they chanted his name Saturday?
No.
Okay, maybe that's that. I don't either.
But they chanted Punk's name for years when he wasn't under contract with WWE.
True.
Here's what I'm saying. I think WWE's already made the decision. They're bringing him back, and they don't give a damn about your opinion. They're going to bring him back.
Yeah.
But I do think there will be a little bit of backlash for a day or a week or
Oh, yeah.
whatever it is when he comes back. But then it'll just be back to business as usual.
Well, if they didn't bring him back, I think there's going to be a massive backlash on that too.
Well, let me ask you, yeah, down there for sure. But that's what I wanted to get to is when you said, you mean he's not under contract right now? And I almost wanted to say, respectfully, where's his leverage right now? I don't think he can go to AEW. I don't know that, but I don't think that's an option. I could be wrong. What do I know?
So let me back all the way up. I was under the assumption, I may be wrong, during the acquisition, he would been working for AAA for 2 years now.
Well, but there's a lot of guys like Sam Adonis who've worked with AAA for years and years, and they're not under a deal.
But
and I'm not comparing Sam Adonis to slot on the card with Del Rio. I'm not suggesting that, but I almost wonder if they played the hokey pokey game, is it in an effort to get a better deal?
Yeah. Okay. We're getting into stuff that we're outside the tent, as you say, but he was champion.
But they advertised him with they advertised the match with Vikingo and Chad Gable for the title before Del Rio ever lost the damn thing.
Yeah.
Which to me, if we signed him and we're going to tell that story, I don't know that we would just ignore it and get the belt off of him. Right? If he was signed, why do you go through all that trouble?
Yeah. And so I'm probably getting way out of bounds because I don't know the intricacies of it.
Well, I don't either. I'm just freestyling. I don't think he can go to TNA. I don't think he can go to AEW. What's left? He's going to work a deal out with WWE. And I wonder if they did what I would call in sales the fake takeaway. Hey, we're going to take the belt off of you and put it on Vikingo. And then we're going to have him, go wrestle Chad Gable and then this 4-way and then Dominic Mysterio. They probably had all of that mapped out, but they're probably thinking in the back of their mind, if he's on the outside looking in, we can beat his numbers down. Because respectfully, I don't pretend to know what the pay scale is, but once upon a time, I heard the top guy in AAA, this is years ago, was making $100,000 a year. That would not be considered top guy money in American wrestling today. So I'm saying if he's a guy who has previously experienced the bigger paydays in the WWE, he may have an expectation. Yes, I was working for less money with AAA, but I'm not going to do that for WWE because I know that you guys. So it just, to me, just like our Karrion Kross discussion, which we're going to get to, I feel like it became a game of economics. They'll get to the right number. They'll show Alberto, well, we just had the highest grossing without you or whatever it is, get to a number, and then here he comes. I always felt like it was a deal about we're going to get a better deal out of the Del Rio signing than we would have if we just came in and said, okay. And then he could reference, well, my last WWE deal, that was different management. That was different circumstances. That was a different promotion. I don't know. We'll see. What do you think happens?
Oh, that's why maybe I'm way too much. And this is what I'm kind of feeling right now. I'm just way too much a casual on this specific set of circumstances. But I thought if buying the brand and buying the IP, and then that's the valuation and all that, because when you throw talent in there and talent contracts, they're all, got a shelf limit. And just, what are they acquiring? But when you kind of look at the talent that could immediately affect Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and I'm saying, don't go over there as full-time, but have the mindset, what are my bridges to introduce the WWE audience down to AAA? Because I would say there's a large portion of the AAA audience, I don't want to get into numbers, that just they're not familiar with it. So how are we going to build that bridge? Well, you can cross promote and have tune in and commercials and sound bites all you want, but when you throw a Rey Mysterio, a Dom, Alberto Alberto can be a direct conduit as a marketing arm. I just thought I just took it at face value, looking at the asset they acquired, Alberto's in the main event slot. They're buying this asset. Okay, we're just going to move this all under the tent as a part of the acquisition, part of maybe the closing terms. Dorian, what talent are you bringing to the table? Like you talk about the leveraging on that. At that time, what was his leverage with Dorian? So sign him up. But you're saying there's probably a little bit more gamesmanship here, and hats off to all sides. I get it. It's maybe, but I just my assumption, and this is where I've gotten wrong in my personal life, a lot of the assumptions and projections, is that from day one, he was an asset that TKO wanted and got.
Can't wait to see what's next for Del Rio. What I know is he's going to have his working boots on because, well, it's going to be an uphill battle for the internet wrestling community to come around. But like JBL, he was working a lot of AAA shows, and he would tell me, Conrad, he's the best performer in the business right now. The way he's got these crowds bought in. And I know that's hard for a lot of us who don't keep up on a regular basis to say, is that him shilling? I want to remind you, JBL does not have a contract with WWE or with AAA, but he's saying of all the buildings he's been in, man, the passion with these Lucha Libre fans towards Alberto Del Rio wasn't like anything he'd seen going right now. I think if you're a booker, you want him back for that.
Yeah. So when was I just there?
I don't know, bud.
I'm trying to think. And Silva, if you've got it off the top of your head, but I just feel like me and Sam in the tag titles, that doesn't feel, was that March? Not that long ago. Yeah. I mean, and
March 22nd of this year.
Okay. I thought it was March. I mean, Conrad, it was, I'll toot my own horn, man. No, it sounds bad saying that, but I've got kind of long-term heel heat, and so does Sam, and the reaction and everything that goes with it. But Alberto, out of everybody on the card, all eyes, and I'll put on my executive producer or booker hat. I mean, no doubt he's quote unquote, maybe JBL would agree with this, the guy. That's why I'm thinking interesting path to get there, but play the long game is always the most successful game in professional wrestling.
By the way, the show you were at, Raider Reyes, 2025, March of this year, the main event, Alberto El Patron, who's the champion, beating El Hilo Del Vikingo, 23 minutes and 22 seconds.
And a boatload of run-ins, and the people were standing. I'd say out of the 23 minutes, 23 minutes.
SaveWithConrad.com.
My name is Rajiv. I'm in Sacramento, California. I came to Save with Conrad because I've heard Conrad talk about how he helps people all the time save money and the best route to go for getting some mortgages and finances done. And having heard so many different testimonials in the past, it made the most sense to go this route. We were in the market for a new house and we wanted to know what we could afford. So we spoke with Steve and then Diane to get through the pre-approval process to see what we could afford. And then once we were able to understand that aspect of it, that was when we were able to shop around for a house to get a mortgage through Save with Conrad. Everybody on the team was great. Everybody really explained everything fully to where it was more in like layman's terms to where I could understand it as someone not in the business or having shopped around for houses too many times. So being able to understand every step of the process and talking with everyone on the team about that was really, really helpful. And it made me feel really confident that I was going the right route. I would definitely recommend Save with Conrad to others. I know that sometimes people look at it and they go, oh, they're based in Alabama, what could they help me with? But I'm out here in California and they were able to square everything away and get things done really quickly, as opposed to sometimes even people out here don't move as quickly as the Save with Conrad team. So everything was really well done, really efficient, and I would definitely recommend Save with Conrad to others. My name is Rajiv. I'm in Sacramento, California, and I was able to get into my dream home with SaveWithConrad.com.
NMLS number 2129, Equal Housing Lender. SaveWithConrad.com.